So what if a massive YouTube channel just decided to become a video game studio? I'm not talking about partnering with one or promoting a game. I mean, what if they just transformed themselves from the ground up into a full-on game developer? Well, let's get into it. Because one animation studio is trying to do exactly that. And it's a wild experiment.
Okay, to really get what's going on here, you have to understand the scale we're talking about. This isn't just some small creator. The channel at the center of this story, Yarnhub Animation Studios, pulls in 35 million views every single month. That's not just a big number, that's an audience big enough to change the entire game.
So how in the world did they build this empire of eyeballs? Well, it all starts with a very specific and frankly, a very powerful content strategy.
Here's the secret sauce. Since 2021, Yarnhub has been making these jaw-droppingly cinematic 3D animations about military history. But, and this is the key, they're not using typical animation software. They build their films inside Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, the same game engine that powers some of the biggest blockbuster video games on the planet. This has attracted this huge global fan base, mostly male, who are already super passionate about gaming and history. But here's the twist. You'd think that kind of success is the dream, right? Well, it turns out that their biggest strength, the very thing that made them so popular, actually created this massive, unexpected problem. A problem that started showing up in their comments section over and over and over again. This right here, this is the comment that changed absolutely everything for them. Because their animations looked so much like a high-end video game, millions of their fans weren't just watching a movie anymore. They were seeing a game that they desperately wanted to play. The demand just became overwhelming. It was constant. And this is where you see just how unique their situation is. On one side, you have traditional game studios spending an absolute fortune, trying to find players, fighting against privacy laws that make it a nightmare to advertise. And then you've got Yarnhub. They have a massive, ready-made community literally begging them for a game. And get this, 90% of their ad revenue already comes from other gaming companies trying to reach their audience. They're basically sitting on a gold mine of players that other studios would kill for. So what do you do when your audience wants a game more than anything else in the world? Well, you lean into it. Yarnhub's solution was just brilliant in its simplicity. Cut out the middleman entirely and just build the game themselves. They call this the cross-media flywheel, and it's such a powerful idea. Think about it. The YouTube videos aren't just entertainment anymore. They become the ultimate advertisement for the game. And playing the game drives people back to watch the films to see the stories they just experienced firsthand. It's this perfect self-sustaining loop that gives them essentially a $0 marketing budget. It's kind of genius. Let me walk you through how this actually works because it's so smooth. Imagine you just finished watching one of their intense films about the D-Day landings. As the credits roll, bam, a call to action pops up on screen. You click it, and you are instantly dropped into the game, right there on Omaha Beach, playing the very mission you just watched. It's this seamless jump from being a passive viewer to an active player. Now, this isn't just some big idea they're throwing around. They have a real concrete plan in place. And it all starts with their first game, a title called Brass Rain. Brass Rain is basically everything their fans have been screaming for. It's a World War II first-person combat game built in the exact same Unreal Engine 5 they use for their films. And here's the crucial part. They're using the same 3D assets. That means the game will look and feel exactly like the cinematic world their audience already knows and loves. You'll be able to fight on foot, jump in a tank, or even pilot a plane. So how are they going to make money? Well, to make sure their millions of viewers can actually play it, they're going with a free-to-play model. That means you can download it and jump in for free, and the revenue will come from things like optional cosmetic skins, unique vehicles, and seasonal battle passes, a model that's been proven to work really well in the gaming world today. Look, an idea this big is just a dream unless you have the right people to actually build it. And Yarnhub has brought in some serious heavy hitters. Their head of games is a 20-year veteran from industry giants like Electronic Arts and Rovio. On top of that, they've been recruiting talent from powerhouse studios like Sony and Wargaming. They're not just a team of animators anymore. They are building a legitimate game studio. And they aren't just rushing into this. They've got a really clear step-by-step roadmap. They're starting with validation and prototyping before they even go into full production. The plan is to do a soft launch in just a few countries within a year to kind of test the waters and check the data. Then, the full global launch is scheduled for 2 years from now, timed perfectly to sync up with their film releases and really get that flywheel spinning at top speed. So, let's be real here. This is an incredibly ambitious vision. It's a huge swing for the fences. And with that kind of ambition, of course, comes some pretty significant risk. So, what does the future really look like, and what hurdles are standing in their way? And when I say ambitious, I mean their long-term goals are just staggering. They're not just trying to grow a little bit, they want to multiply their reach into the billions of views and get 100 million people playing their game every month. The ultimate goal? To become a major AAA level game studio, but one that's built on a totally new model, one that doesn't need to spend a dime on traditional marketing. Of course, this is a massive gamble. There's huge execution risk. I mean, making cool videos is one thing, but building a stable, fun, complex online game is a completely different beast. The market out there is fiercely competitive. Game development is also notoriously expensive and almost always faces delays. And I think the biggest question of all is, will those 35 million monthly viewers actually make the jump? Will they convert into an active, engaged player base? That's the billion-view question right there. So, in the end, we're left with this one fascinating question. We are literally watching a real-time experiment to see if a media company, powered entirely by the passion of its own community, can completely bypass the traditional game industry and build a blockbuster hit from scratch. The plan is there, the audience is more than ready. All that's left now is to see if they can actually pull it off.